Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I'm Shireen Bhan. Now, Audi entered the Indian luxury car market in 2007 and since then it's been growing at a fast clip. It's bagged the #2 spot from Mercedes-Benz and it's now got its eyes set on BMW. It's done all of that courtesy its offerings like the compact SUV, the Q3, so we decided to send Bert out to find out more about the Four Rings' ambitious India plans.
I'm here to meet Michael Perschke, the MD of Audi India, at Audi's headquarters in Mumbai. Now, this is the nerve center of Audi in India. This is where all the big plans and strategies take place. This is where the corporate games are played. But we're here to discuss with Michael Audi's plans for India, what their way forward in the years to come. But before we do that, we've got to find Michael inside that nerve center. Michael, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming.
No, thank you for having me over here. And I must start off with, I had this fantastic experience with the A3 in Europe. I think it was a brilliant car. But the one aspect about that car, I think, was design and innovation, which Audi has been spearheading for several years. Do you have any words to say on that? Have your consumers in India sort of accepted this whole design and innovation bit as comfortably as it is in Europe, for instance?
I think India was even easier because, in Europe we have a long history where we moved from, let's say, more conservative design in the 80s, 90s, and 2000 to 2010 plus. Well, in India we started only in 2007, so of course from day one we positioned ourselves as a very progressive brand, very design oriented. And what the feedback I always get, Indians love the LED lights. I think the LED lights is something which is an integrated part of our design and also of our technology, which Indians just admire, but very distinctive look. If people buy luxury cars, they want something to talk about. And the interior, it's class designing, but even from the exterior, I think the look and design of the A6, now the A4, the A7, the A8, I think is something which is very distinctive for Audi, especially in India.
So just come back from Europe, where I've driven the phenomenal A3, and that's what this whole conversation is all about, the A3. So I'm going to bounce off right now to that story. You're going to love this. This is all about the A3 hatchback, which is really making waves in Europe.
The A3 is a simple design, and yet visually it's strong and solid. It's what we call Teutonic design. Simple straight lines that appear to be clinically perfect, just the way you want them and where you want them to be. And yet the overall design looks so stylish without the need for ostentatious jewelry and other embellishments. Cosmetically, this car is easy on the eye, and that will be its biggest strength.
Audi intends getting the A3 down to India, but it's not going to be in coupe, roadster, cabriolet or hatchback form. What we are going to see in India is a sedan. So instead of this vacant space here, you are going to see a boot right about here. And that will mean this car will grow longer, and that will free a lot more space inside the cabin for the rear seat passengers. These interiors, they showcase the very best and the latest cutting-edge technology that Audi has developed with regards to comfort and luxury of passengers. I mean, I just love the way these aircon vents on the dashboard look and operate. It's just so innovative and just so brilliant. And they're just so good to look at. It just takes design, interior design, a whole new step forward. I even love this pop-up MMI display. Just slides out of the dashboard and slides back in when it's not required. So innovative. Even the touchpad, remember the A7? It had a touchpad where you could dial out or write out the numbers on it. Well, that touchpad has moved and is now on the jog dial itself. So there isn't a separate pad, it's just on top of this dial, and it works in the same way as the touchpad. It's just so fantastic. It's not just the packaging, it's the way this design has been packaged that makes this car just brilliant. The A3 has a wide range of engines to choose from. There are 2 petrols and 2 diesels. In the petrols, you've got the TFSI engines, that's the turbo fuel stratified direct injection engines. There's a 1.4 and a 1.8 petrol. Power outputs, well, they range from 140 all the way up to 180 horsepower. As for the diesel, there's 1.6 that makes about 105 horsepower, and the 2 litre which makes about 150 horsepower. Now, if and when Audi considers bringing this car down to India, the most popular engine choices would be the diesels. That's the 1.6 and the 2-litre diesel. However, if I had to lay my bets on a petrol, it would be the 1.8.
All of these engines are remarkably strong and robust. Even the small petrol does not feel underpowered. It's just as crisp and energetic as the larger engines. And while I personally love diesels, the torque from these new range of petrol TFSI engines have the same depth and breadth as the diesels. So drivability is fantastic, and you don't need too many gear changes to keep the A3 in its power band. You also get start-stop system on these cars, and that enhances fuel efficiency. The interesting bit is that I feel the larger capacity engines will be the ones in greater demand, simply because they are the ones that perfectly match this very dynamic looking car.
The A3 is nicely set up for rough roads, and here in Spain, where the road conditions aren't the best in the world, the A3 feels comfortable. And I can very comfortably vouch that if it comes down to India, it will handle Indian conditions smoothly as well. Dynamics, well, the A3 is a lot of fun. There are a lot of twisties that we're driving on, and well, the steering feels precise. It's got just the right amount of feedback. The chassis, well, this is an agile car. It's light, it's dynamic, and feels very sporty. And of course, it's got 4-wheel drive, which only enhances the dynamic aspect of this car.
So the big question is, can Audi's A3 find the perfect fit in the Indian market? Well, as a coupe, cabriolet or hatchback, it most definitely can't. But we do know Audi have plans to release a sedan version of the A3 in global markets, which will position itself as a more premium option to the Jetta or the Laura, all cars under the Volkswagen Group umbrella. Which then leads us on to the next question, which is, if it comes down to India, where would it find itself, where would it position itself, and what would it be priced at? Well, it will be positioned between the Jetta and the Passat, and it will be priced accordingly. But that will only depend if Audi can manufacture this car in India. Then and only then will the A3 spell a success story for Audi and give it the position of dominance it's been looking for a very long time.